Welcome to the Fintech Times News and Views podcast. Established in 2016, the Fintech Times is a global multimedia news outlet centered around the world's first leading fintech newspaper. We report on the latest and brightest ideas from the fintech world. Follow the conversation using hashtag TFD News and Views and follow us at the Fintech Times.
Hi, my name is Mark Walker. I'm the editorial director of the Fintech Times, and we're here on the News and Views podcast. I'm going to start off by asking my interviewee to introduce him to you, the audience. Please.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for the floors. My name is Artur. I work for COLIBRIX ONE. I'm a deputy head of sales. So I've been in company for 5 years already, and the company has been running for 6. So pretty much of start of the company. I started when we were 28, I believe, employees. Now we're more than 250. So in 5 years,
Wonderful.
there has been
Sounds really good.
big step forward, I would say.
Absolutely. So maybe let's start off by give us a little bit of an overview of what the company focuses on.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question, Mark. Well, basically, our strongest point is processing services. We are direct acquirer of Visa and MasterCard. So what we do, we onboard merchants for processing from all the verticals, from low to high. We have also started business accounts, and now we also give the opportunity for all our merchants to open a direct banking account with us. These are the main strong points that we do focus on.
And obviously, even though we are, a long way into, shall we say, the fintech revolution, many international businesses are still really struggling with banking and onboarding. So sort of from your perspective, what's some of the biggest challenges that you are finding companies facing today?
Yeah, good one, Mark. Basically, what I see from my perspective is that a lot of companies right now are start to use AI, and it's not a human approach for the companies to onboard. So there are a lot of questions that are even irrelevant for this type of businesses because, even though AI is quite smart right now, but it doesn't do all the things and it doesn't have that much knowledge as the person has, for example, an employee from the compliance department. And this is the big challenge, that there is no a lot of human approach right now. So, for example, what we do in our company, of course, everyone uses AI, but we also using the human approach, and we combine that together. While you combine it together, you have I believe, the perfect tool with the knowledge of AI and with a human approach. So this way you are more competitive and you do better understand the business and nature of the business that's on boards with you. And we are, trying to ask less questions to make it smoothly and not very disturbing for the customers. So, I would say, for example, if you want to open an account with Spotify, you don't submit there a lot of documents, right? But you essentially submit the data that requires to successfully onboard. So what we are trying to do with our onboarding is to get the information directly and get the specific information that is needed, not to ask around a lot of questions that would disturb the customer and take away his time.
Yeah. And I guess for that it's quite an interesting feature within sort of a fintech business and banking, because banking typically has required lots and lots of information. But I guess what you're kind of saying is that you're boiling it down to the essential bits of information needed at the right point within the process, not to overload people right at the beginning, but to introduce those different requirements at different stages as they're opening up what they want to do with their banking.
Yeah, that's true, because a lot of information you can find now via adverse media, for example, and not to ask a lot of information from the customer. Just do your homework, see the company, what it's doing, gather the information online when you can get there, understand the type of business that the company is doing, and then just, ask the direct questions that is needed, not around how many years have you been in business or where your headquarters are. You can gather it via internet or open source media.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess we're talking generally about businesses, and obviously COLIBRIX ONE is able to serve any sort of business. But what types of businesses are you finding specifically are coming to you looking for this modern fintech banking solution?
Well, yeah, as I was said, we do acquiring businesses mostly. So all the services that are being sold via internet, apps, and all the internet right now is our customer that we are looking for. But if to say, like to get what we are focusing right now are the subscription businesses. So all the types of subscription businesses that are, we are onboarding them and working very well with that. So this is the focus that we are doing right now is for all the services that do this type of the payments are our key right now.
And for those sort of subscription businesses, what's kind of the key thing they're looking for? I guess a subscription business has a slightly different dynamic to sort of like an online e-commerce type of business as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, true. Well, like each and every merchant, what they're seeking is smooth onboarding. Not to get carried away with the questions, but get cracking with the business. Of course, very good payment flow. So, yeah, like your technical side should be up to date in order to have the good conversion rate and to process the payments fastly and smoothly. This is the main point there, I would say.
Hmm. And obviously, we talk a lot about sort of international businesses. When you say international businesses, where typically are most of your businesses coming from? Are they mostly within Europe, or are they coming from the US, or where sort of geographically are these international businesses located?
Good question, Mark. Mostly we've been focusing on Europe and UK. This is the most, I would say, geos that we were targeted on. But now we do have some US customers as well. So I would say that first comes Europe, then UK, Nordics, of course, and UK is the enormous market that we are looking on and trying to work with bit by bit in order to build a name there in order to be recognizable.
And I guess,
Yeah.
we're now sort of like heavily into 2026, sort of halfway through. What are you finding people are wanting to talk about when they talk about, the future of banking and payments? Is it all agentic AI, or are people still, looking just for a decent, high quality banking partner these days?
Good question, by the way. I would say, from my humble opinion, that the most
Hmm.
is a combining of both. They are looking on the partner that is up to date with all the features that are there with the payments, for example, with the IBANs, SEPA, SWIFT, multi-currency accounts, remote onboarding. That's, of course, kind of features that they are looking into. And of course, the company that has, very to-date app on the app and Google, very open and very good back office for the internet banking that is intuitive, I would say. And of course, they are also asking for the human approach because AI is all over the place and is helping a lot. But at the end of the day, the customer want to have a direct relationship with the person and understand that the money that he's storing and the business he's running is not just generically processed by someone, but behind there is a direct person to whom he can come to and ask the question, why is that not working? How could we improve? Or maybe you can look into other directions on this point. So this is
Yeah, and I guess as you're sort of saying, it's obviously only our opinions and what's going on. There's still a human element needed in the banking process at the moment, even though many you will be saying that we're never going to need humans anymore. Banks are going to disappear. That seems quite a long way off, doesn't it?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to shake a hand with the person, in order to conceal the agreement. And of course, you can do anything remotely, but you have to come to the meeting, to look in the eyes, to shake the hand and understand that, give the person a comfort. Because behind a relationship, there is comfort. Within AI, there is no any.
And I think maybe for my final question, sort of thinking about, as we said, moving towards the back end of 2026, it's gone very quickly. What's the priorities for yourself and the company for, say, the next 6 months and early into the next year?
Well, I would say to work hard. This is the first part, to be interested in things that you do, not to get distracted by other things, and to improve myself in all the skills, because now you have to have and obtain a lot of information to be up to date and to understand where the market is going and what is needed right now. And yes, so be hungry, I would say, all the time.
And for the company priorities, you're obviously looking to expand your client base. Is there development priorities that you also have?
Well, as I mentioned, yes, now we are started to open a banking account. So this is the thing that we are looking into right now, and would like to develop there, improve there, and get as much clients as we can, because this is the new opportunity that we are focusing on. And of course, subscription type of businesses with the processing services that we do.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining me here on the News and Views podcast by the Fintech Times.
Thank you very much.